Hello, everybody.
Good
Good
afternoon.
morning. It
Okay.
is 8:30 on the dot, right? Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
All right. Let me make sure, since it's early. Yes, we are here.
It is Friday, the 2nd of February. We made it to the weekend.
Where are we? What day is it?
And
Oh,
you have your coffee.
I
Cheers.
have my coffee. Do you have your coffee? Cheers, my love.
Michaela got
First
me this
coffee
mug.
talk. What?
Michaela got me this mug all those years ago.
Oh, I remember that when we lived in Brooklyn. I love it. I love it. Well, we don't know if you are, hopefully you're brewing your coffee. Hopefully you'll join us. If not, you can join us on the replay. But yeah, this is our first coffee talk with Connie and Kayla. And why are we doing this? Well, one of the things that Connie and I have always loved to do is to have coffee together, whether we were living together in New York City as roommates or over the phone when we were apart, just having a cup of coffee and talking. And those conversations could go on for hours. And my husband would always be amazed at the range of topics we would cover in like an hour. He'd be like, I think you laughed and cried. And like, I mean, it's just amazing how you can cover all of those emotions and topics in such a short amount of time. And so it's just a special way for us to connect as friends. And we wanted to share that with you guys and invite you into the conversation and invite you into the connection, because we both think that we needed it. We need it, and we cherish it with each other. And I think a lot of people out there need it. So that's why we're going to do it twice a month in this Facebook Live.
It'd be pretty funny and entertaining. So hopefully,
I think so.
be inspired by, the silly things, the serious things, the deep things, and your day is better. And then we're living out our purpose, right?
Yeah, I think so. And sharing. I think that's something that I feel really passionate about, is just, sharing, the things that are not working for me, or the things that I'm struggling with, or the vulnerability of that life's not always easy. It's messy, it's challenging, and it's beautiful and joyous and all of those things. But I just really see a lot of lack of vulnerability, lack of sharing, lack of truth telling. And I just really feel, and I know Connie does too, that we want to be a part of changing that.
The best kind of teacher too, right? The teachers that are always a student. So, sharing what we know isn't the end all be all. It's just sort of where we're at, and hopefully, it inspires you. And you can.
Yeah. And a lot of what we're teaching is what we're trying to either like learn or heal or work through too. So anyway, that's why we're here this morning. So welcome. I think do we have anyone here yet live, Con?
Few people here. So once you guys get on here, shoot us a comment so we know you're with us. And if there's anything you want to add, and maybe not today, maybe today will be a whole lot of listening, because we're going to share the story of how we met and our friendship, in hopes that it inspires you to think about memories maybe that you haven't thought about in a long time with a special friend in your life, or maybe it's reconnecting with another friend. But as we move on with these coffee talks, we would love to hear your feedback on what you want to hear us talk about. That would be, the ultimate goal, so that we can all be a part of a conversation. And we have something brewing for the end of February when we have our next coffee talk. So, we'd be grateful for that. So, share this with a friend, comment and add a friend to the comments, and maybe a topic that you'd love to hear. That would be helpful for us.
Yeah. And for those of you that are here, comment, let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from. Okay, so our friendship, when we were talking about this topic, we were going back and forth of like the details of the day that we met. And because I remember it clear as day, because I met you and I met Jen Frichelli, one of our other really good friends from Elon, in the same class, which was a makeup dance class for me. And I thought it was ballet. So apparently Connie schooled me this morning, was like, it was not.
And we actually met, and I have a full visual in my memory, on the way to class, because it was a long walk. Yes, we used to have to walk down to, was it called East Gym or something? And it was Nina Wheeler Jazz. So those Elon people on here that we love so much through the generations, because it's been a long time since we were in school. We could do a coffee talk on Nina Wheeler Jazz, because she was such a powerful, and still is such a powerful influence to so many of us. But we were on our way to an 8:30 a.m. jazz class, and that's when I met the two of you. I can remember walking there, half asleep, probably hungover.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I totally remember that. And I feel like, and in the same way that with Jen, I was just like, oh my gosh, and at that time we were both theater majors, and you were in music theater. And at that time it was small enough department that you couldn't not be really close with somebody. I mean, if anyone has done any theater, the backstage, it's like, you can't not get close.
Yeah.
You cannot. So we did lots of shows together during Elon, and I just remember admiring you so much, Connie, because I just always remember, since the first time I met you, you just had this light about you that just pulls people in, and obviously it was so captivating on stage. And I just remember being so impressed and inspired by you, and just really, I cherish those times together a lot, because
me too.
I feel like a lot of times when I think about Elon, I feel like I was just so connected to who I was, or who I am. Like, we talk a lot about essence, right? And I just remember really just valuing that time with you and all the theater people that we met.
Yeah. And I think college, it can be such a beautiful time for people. And so many of us are so lucky that, we had supportive parents to help us, financially, or, whether you had a job or not. I think that the support of your teachers and your community was such a great foundation to platform to jump off and try things. And if they didn't work, everybody was there to catch you and lift you back up. And I think that was what was so magical about it, because there was no fear of failure in college, because, you were going to fail, or take risks, and they work.
Yeah. Like I always remember Richard Gang's class, go to level 10. And I will even reflect back and be like, where in my life am I not going to level 10? You know what I mean? Like, we were in theater. Our job was to get extremely vulnerable and real about the human condition, and take risks and be silly, and all the things, just shed all that shit, right? That holds you back, and play. And so it was a special time for both of us. And I remember, I was a year older than Connie in school, and I'll never forget this, because it wasn't until we reconnected and we shared this story that we were both like, oh my God, I had the same thought and feeling. But it wasn't until I graduated. Connie and I were close. We did a lot of shows together, but we weren't in the same social circle of friends in college. And I remember it was at a graduation party. Hi, Stephanie. It was at a graduation party for me, where Connie and I were hugging and saying goodbye. And I don't know if it was you or me, but one of us were saying this doesn't feel like goodbye. This is I feel like we have barely scratched the surface of what we're going to do together and our friendship. And there's a lot more that's going to happen here. And kind of I'm going to see you later. And I didn't say that with anybody else.
You said that to me because I said, I feel really sad that you're leaving, and I feel like we're just getting started. And you were like, this isn't the end.
And I'm sure I was fully committed to that shit.
Yeah, you really were. And then I had a whole nother year of school, but somehow we ended up moving to New York City within a month of each other. You came in September, and I came in October. Or were you August? Whatever. I think it was a month or two.
It was fall.
We were the first two of our really good group of friends to move here. And so I think that sort of put us, in the well, we have to hang out. We don't know anyone else. And you know what I mean? But we really did. And then we started our New York career together, and
nothing will get you closer. And we talked about this. Like, we both came to New York City with about like $1,600 in our pockets. Like, and I don't think like, and we were really the only support system we had at that point. You know, I had a couple of other friends that gave me too, but
Michaela's bedroom was literally like, she had a bed against the windows. I remember, and like no other room. There was no room to walk around.
Shout out to Casey Wilson, who let me sublet that apartment because, like, I don't know. I honestly, a couple of years ago, I was like, thank you so much, because I don't know if I would have had the balls if I couldn't sublet your room. No, yeah, but that thing, and I remember
Kara and Walter went on tour, and I got his, and he's like, Walter, are you doing interior decoration now? Because he's like, his you should see the pictures he posts of his home. He's so creative, and I'm like a mess. So I got to move into this. Even then, he was creative. It was like this beautiful room in Queens. Yeah, $1,600 in our pocket, and half of that went to rent for the first.
I know.
So we did.
I think, like, I mean, talk about risk, right? And I think that decision was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I remember being like, what's the worst that could happen? You know, and it all worked out. And then so we were, for pretty much all of our 20s, we were in New York City together. And I mean, I really think we could do a show on our 20s and a session, a coffee talk on our 20s in New York City alone, because that was interesting.
You know, through relationships, failed relationships, through Bullmore Lanes, getting a job, from Bull. I mean, like, guys, here's what we're doing this podcast is that Michaela and I have this like parallel. It's like exactly the same. Like, she got fired from Bullmore. I got fired from Bullmore. I
was never meant for Bullmore Lanes. The minute I put on that dress, I was like, this is not who I am. But I kind of, I need to do this
anymore. Well, it does, but not the original. We took acting classes together. We got to remember Personal Dynamics was like a landmark thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I did learn a lot from it, but that was weird.
Oh, what the fuck? Do whatever it takes. If anyone's on that.
No, if we're supposed to talk about
I don't know.
What else? Then okay, so can we tell the story about we finally, we always wanted to live together, but it never worked out. Then I got bed bugs. Then Michaela got bed bugs, and we were like, this is enough. We're going to move in together. So we moved into Jen's apartment, who we met that first day.
Yes, in Alice's room.
We went into, we shared a bed for a month and scared the shit out of Jen that she was going to get bed bugs. And
God bless her, though. What a good friend.
What?
I said, what a good friend, inviting two people that had bed bugs, like, in different places. And she was like, okay.
And I got them years later. But I digress.
Years, Jen, years. We did not give you the bed bug.
We did not bring those bed bugs. But then we said to each other, let's find an apartment. And we were like, well, we've done all this work on ourselves. Like, we are enlightened souls. Let's draw and write exactly what we want.
I forgot about that.
Remember? And then, guys, almost to a T, we found the apartment. It was all the way out in Greenpoint.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a million miles from the train.
It's not as cool than it is now, I guess.
No, it's much cooler now. But we found this beautiful apartment, and we were like, I cannot believe this is almost exactly. I think that might have been the moment where I was like, oh, okay, you know, like, this was really powerful, right? Yeah. And then what? So we lived together.
Then we lived together in the best apartment ever, and then we did The Artist's Way. And I remember we both did The Artist's Way, which is a great book. I'll put a link in it later. It's basically a 30-day, I think it's 30 days, isn't it? Whatever. 30-day, like, tap into your creativity workbook. And we both did that. And it was just beautiful. You were killing it with auditions. Like, I was writing, like, all this poetry, and we're just feeling really fulfilled. And at that point, Mihai, my now husband, moved in, and that was hilarious and fun. And then we get married, and then we decide that we have to go to Denver. Yeah. Hi, good morning, Jesse. Which was the best decision because at that point, like I had been in New York City for 7 years and I was like, the L train, like was the end for me. And I just, that was the end for me. I was like, I think I need
L train. It's still a mess.
Colorado. And then continuing with like, just like the parallelity or whatever, parallel of our lives. So then Connie, I'm in Colorado and Connie calls me and she's like, I'm dating this guy and he's English, but he's also French. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're dating an international man too. Because Mihai, my husband's from Romania. And then while I'm in Colorado, I get certified as a yoga teacher. Connie does in New York. She gets married to Tony. And then I'm fast forwarding, so stop me if I'm moving too fast. And then she gets pregnant with baby Maya, her daughter. And then I get pregnant with Emily. Our girls are 3 weeks apart. And then we both get pregnant with boys and they're 2 months apart. And I'm just going to stop right there because that's crazy to me. Like, it's just crazy to me. And that wasn't by design. You know, it really wasn't. It's not like I was like, I want to get pregnant at the exact same time that you do, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think the fact of the matter too is like, if this is too much sharing, but it took you a little while to get pregnant and I had a miscarriage and
yeah.
Then I can remember it was a Monday morning and I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And I took a test and you were like, I haven't got my period in a few days. And I was like, maybe you should take a test. And you were like, no, Connie, no. And then she took a picture of like pregnancy tests, like 4 days. It was a Thursday. 4 days later, I get a picture that Michaela's pregnant too. So it was just, you know, and I think a lot of that too is that we talked a lot about what we wanted our life to look like. And children were always, that was a really big dream of ours. And I think that also this also like leads us into what motherhood has done for us. You know, we were so creative for so long and you know, becoming pregnant and literally creating a life and moving through life in a different way now, right? I mean, becoming a mother and a father is such a transformational moment and you kind of have to shed a lot of things. So anyways, I think becoming a mom once and then twice, there became a time where we were like starting to kind of lose sight of who we were as creative people and what our purpose was besides becoming mothers, because that was such a big deal. And we were so fulfilled for those first, I don't know, like 2 years, 3 years. So I think probably when Jack and Hudson, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I think when Jack and Hudson became a certain age, like, you know, maybe approaching 1 year, we were like,
what's next? What's next? Not another baby.
That is it, you know? And how happy, because, I mean, it's not that we weren't happy, but I think there were ways that we weren't being fulfilled anymore.
And I think if there's anything that I just want to share today, I think it's just the value of having a friendship where you can be that honest. Because like I never questioned being a mom. Like when it comes to my purpose or who I am and what I want to create in the world, I literally said, yes, motherhood and being great. Yes.
Stephanie is very creative. She's a seriously creative soul.
Yeah. And if that's a part of you and you're not, whether you're creative or maybe it's, I don't know, science for someone else, or, you know, if that's like what lights you up, if that's who you are and you don't have time for it or, you know, whatever, the things that life can get in the way of it, you can start to just like not recognize who you are anymore. And then at least for me, like my joy I was losing my joy and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I just really appreciated that I am just surrounded by amazing women where I can be like very honest and say, I love my children with all I'm being, but there's more. And not feel like I'm a bad mom or not feel like I'm being judged, you know, and that they can be like, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, and that's such a gift.
You come across women too that do sort of make you feel the opposite, you know, not being supported and kind of judged. So, and let it also be that like, if you're a mom too and not creative, like, you know, I do think that all mothers must, maybe I'm speaking wrong, but I think that all mothers must feel like once you become a mom, you know, you do sort of like lose yourself in taking care of these kids in a way that, you know, dads can't necessarily in the first year or two, you know?
And I think that there's moms out there where that is like, at least I've met a couple where it's like, that's it. Like that is the thing that they want to do. And that is where they want to put all of their creativity and all, you know, in it all goes there. And I think my mom was one of those moms, you know? And I think that I felt I was in conflict with that for a long time.
Your mom just gave and gave and gave, you mean?
No, like her number one, I've even asked her this before because she was a painter. And I was like, why didn't you, I'm a dreamer, right? Like I'm a dreamer. I like to go after dreams. And I was like, a gallery, like there's still time. Let's paint and fill, I'm like, I'm still pushing her to do that. And she's like, I'm good, honey. Like, I'm good. I don't need that. So I think some people, it's just finding whatever your joy is. And if it is putting all of that, like she used to do art projects with us. She was an art teacher. So she nurtured it that way.
Right.
But for me, like I really wanted to create something that would help somebody, that's been kind of like the yoga meets the actor meets the writer, all of that stuff. And I just remember us talking and you were like, girl, me too. Like we have all these trainings. We have all these things. Like, why are we still feeling this way when we have the tools to not, right? We've done all this trainings. And I was like, I know. And then we were like, who else is feeling like this? And then we realized a lot of people were, and let's just, let's talk about it. And that's why we created Emaya, really. And it's, I think, the name Emaya comes from our daughters, Emily and Maya, which like, I think was the
manifestation.
What?
The ultimate manifestation.
Yeah.
Together, our daughters.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I just think I'm so grateful, Connie, that you are such a good friend, because I feel so safe to be honest with you about who I am, and you always just care and you listen, and then you ask me the right question, right? So you're asking us, so what do you want? Like, what do you want? And how can I help you? How can I hold the vision for you of what you want? And then you remind me of who I am and what I'm capable of. And that's such a gift.
That's the same. I feel like you hold me to a certain standard too for myself. You call me out on my shit.
I'm the tough, I'm the tough love one, huh?
You are, but I feel the same. I feel, and I feel like not every friend creates something this special together. So I've always been a collaborator. Jesse's on here. She knows. I mean, I used to sing with friends, and I was always a part of a collaboration. And I think that's why Emaya is so important to us both, because look at the state that the world is in, and the only way we can make it better is to be together and support each other in a loving and honest way, and have conversations that are difficult, that are silly, that are challenging us to be better people. And it's fine. I could create on my own. You could create on your own. We could be teaching on our own. But I feel like by our powers combined, it feels so nice to create with you, because it's just that much better. And
I think having the support too. I mean, one of the things that we realized in our program is like, it can be really, really scary. Hey, Abby!
Hey, hi, Abby.
Abby's been to one of our retreats and workshops too. Good to see you, sweetie. But one of the things that I think is really great about, like, whether it's collaboration or just having, a support system around you of people that believe in you, it's one of the things we found on the program that we did is that it can be really scary to ask yourself the question of like, what do I want? Like for instance, when I had my two beautiful babies, who am I to ask her what I want? Like, I have my two babies. Like, it could be scary to even ask that question. But then once you know and you take action on it, that's when all of your fears and your doubts, and that's when it gets really real. And it's so great. I just value you supporting me and holding my hand, like even when things are scary. And I'm over here in Romania and I don't speak the language, and I'll call Connie and I'll be like, I don't know what it is. And she's like, just breathe, girl. You got it. It's okay to cry.
The craziest and bravest thing that I mean, you've ever done in your life. I just can't imagine being in a country. I mean, you're not even Romanian. Like, it would be one thing for me to go to Italy because that's like my roots, and I sort of have an understanding. I just think it's so incredible, and Mihai's so lucky to have you, and your kids are lucky to have you, because how amazing is it that they get to go experience time in a country. You know, they get to say when they're older, oh, we spent like a year or whatever it is that you're going to end up over there. I got to spend amount of time with my dad and my mom in, you know, where my dad grew up. I mean, you're giving them a really special gift. It's pretty cool.
Well, and I've been inspired though. Like, I'm like, I want to really travel a lot with my kids. Like, I want to create that for me and my family, you know, and wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been over here. So
right.
Yeah.
We should probably start to wrap it up because
we should. This has been so fun.
Lady, so fun. Thanks so much. It was really nice to have your presence and just hear Stephanie and Abby and I don't know, maybe a few people that haven't commented, but just sending you love, and we're both happy to have you here. Nick Kyle's here. Happy to have you all part of this circle and this conversation. So if you feel like tagging a friend, Jesse and I have been friends since we were little, and Stephanie and I were pregnant she was pregnant at the same time you were, Kayla, with her little guy Otto, and Abby went to Elon, and Kyle went to Elon. So this circle is really special to us. And if you would just, you know, maybe comment on a friendship that means a lot to you, just to honor it, and maybe like go back down memory lane, because, you know, like that moment that Michaela and I said, we're not done yet, you know, or the walk to jazz, like we had to like really actually think about it. And it felt really nice to call upon those memories. And the women were then.
One other thing I want to say too is Abby, who's watching now, we were also roommates at Elon, and she was one of my best friends at Elon, and we hadn't seen each other. Abby, I think it was since we graduated, but let me know if I saw you after graduation. I don't think it was. So I think it must have been like 15, 17, some odd years. I don't want to tell you how many, but it was long. I didn't see her at all. She comes to our Harvesting Harmony retreat, and it was like no time had passed. And I just, we're back in each other's lives. We're talking, we're supporting each other again. So like, if there's a friend that you've been thinking about, you know, reconnect, reach out, because those friendships that are strong and real, like it's like sometimes no time has passed, and it's so special.
Yeah.
Like they're too young, a long time.
It is. It's wonderful to reconnect. So maybe that's your goal for this Friday, February 2nd, to connect in a while. So let us know what you want to talk about. We're going to skip, Kayla, when's the next one?
Oh, I don't know. In 2 weeks?
It's on the 23rd. So the last Friday of the month, we're going to reconvene and talk about self-care. So, you know, if you've got anything to add to that, you can comment or message. And can't wait to see you in a few weeks.
Thank you so much, everybody. This has been fun. And again, let us know if there's other topics. I've heard momming is a topic, maybe something specific around moms. Let us know in a comment below what kind of coffee talk topics you'd want us to hit upon. Okay?
We need a theme song.
I know. Like, but I don't know. I agree. With like a really cool flashy like logo.
All right. We'll get there. Thanks,
All
everyone.
Right. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.